Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Broyans farm. We just got out here, loaded up, tanks full. We're ready to start. We're gonna start on the top of the field with cantaloupe, then work into honeydew, then yellow doll, which is a seeded little yellow watermelon, and then seedless yellow watermelon, and then it'll be the seedless red watermelon. No, just put it on the wagon. Alrighty, so we got 3 rows done. These are all cantaloupe. We're finished with the cantaloupe. And they actually just started planting a couple of the honeydew. We'll come back that next row a little bit with honeydew, and then we'll move into the watermelon. We finished up the cantaloupe, honeydew, seedless watermelon, and yellow seeded watermelon. Now we came right across just that little drive path there into the next field, which is gonna be our pickles, cucumbers, zucchini, and the cole crops. And on the lower side here is red beets. They already got 1 row in of zucchini, and now they're working on cucumbers. And you can see how it works and how it's done for all of these plants. This wheel goes through, and obviously the spike makes a hole in the ground, and underneath that spike is a hole, and that's where the water comes out of the tank into the wheel. And as that spike goes in, the water comes out and floods the hole, and you can actually see the water in there, and then it just kind of seeps into the ground, also flushing dirt around and covering the plant and the roots. Done correctly, without a lot of rocks, you shouldn't see anything besides just the stem coming out of the ground. So we just got finished up. Everything went really well today. Got the cantaloupe watermelon done, moved into the pickles, cukes, and zooks, got those done. And then out here, we actually got some lettuce, celery, cilantro, and basil in the ground. It's kind of hard to actually tell the difference, but this is cilantro, that's basil or oregano. That looks like celery, bunch of celery. And then this is basil. And I don't know if this is more cilantro, so it kind of looks like, or this also could be parsley. And then we move into I don't know if it's red sales or new red fire lettuce. And down there we have some butter crunch. One thing I wanted to mention is that we do have a website, bryansfarm.com. And on there we have a bunch of our shirts, all different sizes and colors. We even have crew necks, we have hoodies, all sorts. On the front is the main logo, and on the back is the bigger logo with the tractor in it, which I think is a nice touch. That's one way you can really help us to grow the channel and just support our farm in general. One other way is obviously by liking the video and subscribing to our channel. We really appreciate it. Tomorrow morning, we want to start cultivating some of our early cole crops and possibly our onions. So I wanted to come over here to the cultivating tractor and start getting her lubed up. So you can see here, obviously this tractor is very old. I think this is a John Deere B, if I'm not mistaken. To be honest though, I don't know, because I only see John Deere, no letters. But either way, it's obviously very old. It actually works very well for us. We only use it a couple times a year just for cultivating, and then it gets parked back under here, and this is where it stays. And so the whole apparatus has been on here since I can ever remember. There's actually bolts where it mounts right to the front, and then, you know, there's chains and wires. Certain things are just rigged up so that it just works, you know, the way we need it to. And so I can't really explain everything because I'm still kind of new to this, but what I can say is that up here on the front is where obviously all the controls are. When I press these foot pegs, that's what will drop the cultivators down in, and you know, I can start going through the field. This right here is actually my clutch, which is a little bit different than most of all of our other tractors. Usually it's just a left foot peg right here, but this is actually a brake. And so it's definitely a learning curve, but after doing it now for like 2 years, I am starting to get the hang of it. But other than that, it's just got these shoes that go into the ground. These actually have the same point coming out here on this side, but we cut it off because we're going through here with our veggies, and obviously we don't want to hit them or pull them up out of the ground. So that one's nipped off and that one's nipped off, and then, you know, we go right through. Back here is just a different type of shoe. Obviously not as quite aggressive, but again, just, you know, tilling up that dirt, hopefully killing the weeds. And so I'm gonna go through here now and just hit all my grease fittings. I went through and cleaned them off. Gonna put a couple pumps of grease in, maybe put some chain and cable on some other moving parts that doesn't have grease fittings. Like here, this sets the depth of my cultivators. And basically that's it. Just get it all tuned up, that way tomorrow I can just head out and hopefully have no problems. On a lot of the older equipment, I don't really know how many pumps of grease to put in it. Usually until I see it or I can hear it coming out, then I just stop. Well, we're getting a lot of other jobs done. Nathan, who is the guy who has planted my corn maze and the corn for us for about the past 2 or 3 years, is here actually working on planting corn again. This is his setup. I wish I knew or could explain to you guys what all this contraption is. Obviously, this is a corn planter. You know, you get your seed openers, your closers, all that kind of stuff. But as far as fine detail, I really can't tell you. But I do see some new shinier equipment on there. All I can tell you is that he does a really good job not only planting it, but also then he comes back through in the fall and harvests it for us, and then, you know, we get it in our bin. Which what we do with most of our field corn is keep it for ourselves. We don't really sell it because we want it for bagging corn just to sell in 50-pound bags out at our farm market. It's the next day, and sadly I'm not going to get to cultivating this morning, and the reason for that is we are planting corn. Not really us, but the guy who's planting our corn needs our fertilizer cart, and so I got to get that out to him, which is going to take me a little bit. One issue that we're having is this back tire is not holding air at all. Obviously these tires are not in the best of shape, but we've never had an issue up until now, and it's losing air so fast to the point to where we can barely get it, let's just say, up to that tree without needing to pump it again. And so obviously with having a lot of weight in there, we don't want to run the tire off the wheel and then have really big problems. So we're just trying to get through the corn planting, and then, you know, we'll take care of fixing it. The only problem is these wheels are split wheels or split rims, whatever you want to call them. And basically nobody wants to touch these anymore, I guess because they're pretty dangerous. And so we're not quite sure what we're going to do about that problem, but I guess we'll handle that when we get there. But for now, just gonna grab the air tank and get it filled up with some air so I can get it to the field where he's gonna start planting. We just got back here to the shed. Sammy came out and picked me up after I dropped the tractor off. And we gotta get some corn seed. I already grabbed 1 bag. We have 5 bags left. I gotta put 4 more on the truck. I don't know how much these weigh. They feel like they weigh more than 50 pounds, but maybe it's only 50. Either way, I can't carry 2 of them. The tractor's out to the cornfield, and now I got my truck backed in with the trailer. Sammy and I are gonna bag corn. We already sold out of the 30 bags that we bagged about 2 or 3 days ago, and so we're gonna do another 70 now again today. We just got the first couple bags done. This first bag was normal, like just the sizing and everything, but these bags are very odd compared to all the other bags that we've ever bought in. They have all the lettering in the perfect spot, the right height and everything, but the top of the bag is extended like another, I don't know, 6-8 inches. Like, these bags are just as tall as that bag sitting on the board and the scale. And so I don't really know why it's like that, but the only thing I'm afraid of is it's gonna sit really weird on the pallet when I try and do my stacking, but I guess I'll figure that out when I get there. But yeah, it just looks like they have a really long neck on them.
Bags.
What do you mean they're the wrong bags?
These aren't right bags.
What do you mean they're not right?
They're bigger.
I just said that. They're all goofed up. For some reason. We just finished bagging. We think we have just around 70 altogether. Sammy kind of looks like a grandma with her whitish gray hair and all the flakes in it. And now, so I will weigh, put them on the wagon, or the trailer actually, and then Sammy's gonna tie them and stack them. So you can see right here on the scale, I have it set at 51 pounds, just so the customer always gets more. And when it's light, this will sit on the bottom. When it's heavy, it'll sit at the top. If it's perfect, it'll kind of just teeter right there in the middle. Obviously right now it's heavy. And that's perfect right there. It's actually over 51 pounds, but it's very close.
Dad, I'm here to help.
So we just finished up. We're gonna take these out to the market now. So we're just leaving the market now. You can see the corn there on the front porch. We just got out here to the golf course next to the farm market. This is actually the field I had the corn maze in. The beams are actually still here. We haven't removed them. But we're gonna be planting just corn, field corn, obviously like normal. Dad's just mowing the field for when Nathan comes through to plant. Obviously it's not gonna be cross planted because it's not gonna be a corn maze. It's just gonna be just for harvesting, that's all. And so what we're doing out here is we have to lay out a strip That's where we brought flags for our pumpkin field. The past 2 years, we've planted pumpkins there, and we've planted pumpkins over there where that grass patch is, but now we're gonna run a strip of pumpkins somewhere through the middle here, because you don't wanna plant pumpkins where you planted them previously, just because you wanna keep moving stuff around, better for the nutrients in the soil. And so that's why Sammy's here. She's gonna be my flag holder, and maybe even my poker inner. Here you go, Sammi. And I have an app on my phone. Hopefully we're gonna try and do a good job here, lay this out. That way Nathan knows exactly what he's doing and where not to and where to plant.
Step that way. Good.
So right now we're just trying to make a straight line, or as straight of a line as possible. I think to the right, that way.
To the right a step. That's good.
A little bit.
I think it's supposed to. Didn't it curve like that?
No, it was straight. All right, so we just finished up. I don't know if you can see the flags, but they go right out through the middle there. I have this app on my phone called Onyx. I basically use it for hunting, but for certain things like this on the farm, it works really well because I can shape out exactly the way I want it to be shaped, and it tells me the acreage that I'm shaping out. And so Dad wanted 4 acres of pumpkins, and we have it almost down to the foot, or at least I'm pretty sure we have it almost down to the foot. So I can't imagine he's gonna be disappointed with that. So we're back now to finally load truck for the last time for plant season. We'll obviously be loading it a lot here as soon as markets start with all our veggies. Sammy's gonna get up on the truck and stack, and I'm just gonna keep hauling stuff out to her.